Hello everyone, this is Schism. I have a 2,500 point pitch battle, my vampire counts versus Warriors of Chaos. Now starting on my opponent's right, he has 5 Warhounds, and then he's got 5 Chaos Knights with a Marker Nurgle. Behind there he has a Chimera with a Regeneration. And then to the left there he's got a Gorby's Chariot, Marker Nurgle. Then he's got 20 Chaos Warriors, Mark of Nurgle. He's got his Demon Prince next to that with Mark and Nurgle, Soul Feeder, Sword of Swift Slaying, Chaos Armor, Scaled Skin. Then he's got 20 Mark of Tizniche Warriors. He's got a level 4 with a Charmed Shield, Skull of Catan, and a Biting Blade. And his BSB's on the other side with Enchanted Shield and Sword of Striking. Then he's got another Gorby's Chariot with Mark and Nurgle. And then 3 Dragon Ogres with additional hand weapons, and 5 Warhounds. Then starting on my right, I have 40 Ghouls. And then next to that, I have 33 skeletons with a champion and a banner. In front of that, I have a spirit host. To the left, I have 40 Graveguard with great weapons and the banner of the Barrows. Behind that, I have 20-man zombie bunker with a level 4 naked and a level 1 with a dispel scroll. Then next to that, I have 20 Graveguard, sword and board with a vampire lord with quick blood, red fury, sword of strife, enchanted shield, talisman of preservation. So he's got 3 up, 4 up ward. In front of that, I have a spirit host, 6 crypt horrors to the left, and then I have another spirit host way out on the left there to cause some trouble. Turn 1, Warriors of Chaos, pretty straightforward. Moves forward and moves forward again. In the magic phase, he casts Miasma on my Lord's unit, and I let it go because I'm saving it for something more devastating. So he gets -2 to all that stuff. And then he throws 6 dice at Pit of Shades. He does an irresistible. I throw 6 dice, and I miss it by 1. And he puts it on my Lord's head, but it drifts right over here. And of course, I fail 7 initiative tests. My turn 1, I move up right behind the wall there. And I stay behind the wall there because walls are safe. So why not stay behind a wall, right? Even though it's a shrubbery. And then my ghouls move up a little bit more than everybody else to try and close the side up over there. And my little peekaboo ghosts go up in the middle that cause some trouble and create some bad matchups, hopefully. My magic phase, I throw Van Hal's Dance to try and bait out some dice, and I get it off, a bubble dance. Now, I don't take the movement as much as I want to get closer. I just want to stay behind this hedge, and I want to see him come to me a little bit, and I want to pick and choose my charges, because I know he really wants to get to me. And I managed to squeak off Invocation. He can't stop it, and I get my whole Graveguard unit back to full strength, so I'm happy about that. Now, in his turn, I didn't take any pictures of his turn because it was pretty boring. He rolled double ones for his magic phase. Nothing happened. Now he throws these 2 units up here because he knows he can't get around my charge arc, so it's inevitable. So he puts them right in front of my unit, and the rest of his army moves up. So in my turn, I just do the obvious thing. I tie up his dogs. I tie up his dragon ogres. I'm good to go. He's gonna need get some ranks in there to actually do anything to me. So I'm happy about that. Other charges, I long bombed my ghouls into his Chaos Knights. Don't know if this is a smart thing, but you can see I rolled a 10. I got him in there. So, we'll see. And I did manage to get my other Spirit Host into his Gorby's Chariot. So that's a huge victory because he can't touch me, and I'm just going to be trying to peekaboo him to death. Now, my skeletons here, I quick reform them, my general's leadership, and I try and... You can see the front ranks facing away. I did that just in case he flies his Chimera over. I have something to at least tie it up because I don't want him getting into my wizard bunker this early. So that was my thought process behind that. I managed to get Hellish Vigor off on the ghouls. Strength 3, can't hurt. I wanted the dance, but he stopped the dance, so I'll settle for reroll to wounds any day. Over in the combat in the far left here, I managed to kill a dog. I won the combat, but I didn't manage to catch him. So there I am. Over in this combat, you can see I managed to kill one of his knights, and he did a few wounds to me and back. Nothing. I pretty much bounced off him. -1 to hit. I got a few poisons, and he made his saves. That's an uphill battle. And he did manage to see in that picture his Chimera did make it into combat with his ghouls this turn. He did charge him in there, so that's going to be a problem. And the rest of his army is just right in front of me. So it's make it or break it now. I can't hide behind this shrubbery. So yeah, in this picture you can see his Chimera. It did make that charge, and it's kind of off to the right a little bit just because that hill is a pain in the butt. So he's right in the thick of my ghouls there. And you can see that lovely little card in the back there. That is a Mind Razor. So, yep, that's exciting. And you can see in this combat here, one big thing is missing, and that's the Chimera. I allocated all the attacks I could on it. I rolled an insane amount of poisons. Hellish Vigor is useless on ghouls. And he just managed to fail his 4-up, 4-up, 4-up armor and 4-up regen. I got extremely lucky and off of his bad luck. And you can see that Aachen Mind Razor warriors killed 6 of my ghouls, but the combat res and the ranks stopped me from crumbling. And I learned that ghouls are initiative 3 and a Chimera is initiative 2 in this combat. So I never thought initiative 3 would be such a great thing, but it was in this case. And over here, I charged his, well, his dogs are fleeing still. And I charged, and they flee still. So I should have, in hindsight, let him try and risk his leadership 5 to turn around, but to rally. But nope. In my turn, I just full out charge. I have no choice. Now I charged my Graveguard Great Weapons into his Mark and Nurgle warriors because I got the Band of the Barrows, Mark and Nurgle. They offset each other, so we're just straight fighting each other. I did tag his Demon Prince in this combat too, which is unfortunate, but that happens. Now, I send my Cryptors into his niche warriors just to tie him up because I don't want my Lord in there yet because I don't know how this combat in the middle is going to go. And the Cryptors hopefully will just be able to sop up some attention for a while till I find out how this middle combat's going to go. Now with the Chimera's gone, I reform these skeletons to stare down the dogs. I managed to catch Hellish Vigor off on my Graveguard with Great Weapons. Now I'm going for the dance, but he keeps dispelling it, so I'll settle for Hellish Vigor because my only other spells is Gaze and Nagash and Invocation, and I haven't taken enough damage to Invocation, so. And I'm throwing Hellish Vigor first to try and bait out some dice, but it's not working. In this combat here, I managed to drag down 2 of his knights, and his Mind Razor dudes dragged some more of my ghouls down. Pretty uneventful. And then he managed to take out a Cryptara and put 2 wounds on another. I killed 4 of his warriors. I'd say that'd be about a fair trade. My Spirit Host managed to put 2 wounds on a Dragon Ogre this round, but they stayed in combat. He's got his BSB right nearby, and he has his general, his Demon Prince. Now, in combat in the middle, he issues a challenge. I refuse it. And then he just goes to town. And most of those attacks are from his Demon Prince. I think his Demon Prince killed 5. And then he rolled a 1 for his Thunderstomp. Thank heaven. And then a few more got dragged down. And I go and I tee off. And I only kill 7. He just makes a lot of wards in his 6-up armor and his 6-up ward. So there's that. And then his magic phase. Well, in his charging phase, he charges his chariot into my. He can just barely clip him there, my Crypt Ghouls. And then he casts the Withering first spell. And I have to let it go because I can't let Mind Razor go off in the middle. So I let it go. He lowers my toughness by 2. So I'm toughness 3 Cryptaurus. And then he throws 6 dice at Mind Razor. He does not get it irresistibly. I throw 6 dice at Mind Razor, and I fail to get it by 1. So this is at this point my head is in my palm of my hand because this is just not nice. In this picture here, you can see my ghouls finally clean up the last of those knights, just clawing at them by sheer weight of attacks. What they don't show is the reform. I do reform to be 6 wide, so I can try and sneak by the combat here with the chariot. And then he issues a challenge. I accept with my champion, and I try and sop up some of the wounds so I don't lose too many models. And but he manages to kill 13 with his Mind Razor Warriors of Chaos. And then I managed to kill a paltry 3. So you can imagine at this point what happens. It's called Pop Goes the Graveguard, and I end up this combat with 4 left. But I'm still there, mind you. This combat here, he just rolls really well in impact hits, and I'm toughness 3, so my guys are just getting shredded like cheese. And yeah, so I lose a whole bunch of Crypt Horrors, and I just pop. And there's Pop. And this is the beginning of my turn, so I get a charge off. Now, with the good thing with my Graveguard getting whittled down so little is it left room, plenty of room for my ghouls to get in the flank. So I promptly just throw them in the side. Now, my general's bunker, I went to throw into his niche, but I rolled a 3. I needed like a 5 or 6 to get in. So there I am sitting in front like Pillsbury toaster strudel, just waiting to be gobbled up. Over here, I charge my skellies into the dogs. I win combat. They flee. I reform to face the middle because that's just a waste of my time. Otherwise. Now, I managed to get Invocation the heck off. I get the bubble version, so I get some ghouls back, and I get my Graveguard back, which is amazingly terrible. You'll find out. Yeah, that was a bit. I don't know what I was thinking, but I wanted more Graveguard, so I got more Graveguard. And this is what happens when you get more Graveguard. Is I strike last, he outgates all his attacks on the unit. His Demon Prince kills 5, his Warriors kill the rest, and I don't even get to swing with any of them. And yeah, the only saving grace is the ghouls did take out 3 of his Warriors. The bad news is I lost all those ghouls just from straight combat res. So, yeah, lovely. And I managed to do a wound on the Gorby's chart with my Spirit Host, but he sticks around. So, in his turn, he promptly takes his Demon Prince and his niche Warriors and slams them into my General's unit. And his Nurgle Warriors win the combat, so they just reform to face the ghouls. My Spirit Host managed to kill a whole Dragon Ogre, but they stick around. And you can see my Spirit Host up top reforms to face the middle, and he's going to trundle his way back in to play peekaboo. And you can see right here his Demon Prince issues a challenge. My Graveguard captain there bravely takes the challenge. Because he has to. Because that's how it works. Now you can see here, my Graveguard completely whiff. I get a killing blow off. No, I don't get a killing blow. I get a wound on his BSB. Not a killing blow, but I get a wound on his BSB this turn. And my Lord goes, and I get 7 hits, 7 wounds, and he just armor saves and parry saves him down. My Lord kills 3. And then I think he gets 5 wounds off on my captain. So, yeah, combat res, I just fold. I take out a warrior with my ghouls. He chops me down to manageable size, so this is looking pretty good. I need a really good magic phase to take this back into my court. Now I charge my skeleton warriors into the flank of his Demon Prince. Now I did this because that unit has a champion, and my champion in my Graveguard is already deceased, well, dead over again. A deceased dead champion. So yeah, I take him in the side just because he has to issue a challenge, and I got a nice skeleton champion ready to take that. So, and you can see I move my wizard, my level 4 out, so I can get a nice bubble. If I get that 12-inch bubble off, I can affect all my units. And I managed to cast Invocation the heck off. I get 6 or 7 of my Graveguard with great weapons back. My ghouls, I think I get 9 ghouls back, so I'm happy. And I get my champion back in my Graveguard unit, so awesome. He issues a challenge. I take it with my skeleton champion. He managed to get a couple parries off on his Demon Prince, so he only gets 2 combat res for the Demon Prince this round. My Lord goes and slices 4 more of the warriors off, and he kills 2 Graveguard with the rest of his unit. Now, mind you, my Graveguard with sword and board, kill not a single Warrior of Chaos this whole game. So over here, combat. He kills some of me. I kill one of him. But at least I have more than I did last turn. Now, his magic phase, I believe he rolls a 9, and he's got this Skull of Catan thing, and every turn during his phase, he's rolling 6 dice to try and channel. On a 1, he loses the leadership. He gets the leadership 0, he dies. At this point in the game, he's leadership 3. He throws 6 dice, he rolls 3 1s. Boom. His awesome magic phase, done. His wizard dies. And I can breathe a sigh of relief because if I was one mind razor away from just losing this game, and now I don't have to worry about mind razor. And then you can see his Gorby's chariot moves up here, and he's ready to get into the action again. So he issues a challenge this time. I accept it with my Graveguard Captain. He takes 2 wounds for combat res, so that's not too bad. You can see I got 4 Graveguard here that die in this combat. Now, during my next magic phase, I get 6 dice. I roll an 11, plus I channel 1. So I'm like a kid in a candy store. So, here we go. I first cast Hellish Vigor on a couple dice, and he lets it go. And then I throw 3 dice at Bubble Dance. I get off Bubble Dance. So rerolls for everyone. And then I throw 6 dice at the 12-inch version of at the 12-inch version of Invocation, and he rolls 6 dice, and I beat him by 1 this time. So So I get my champion and my skeleton unit back. I get my champion unit, my Graveguard back, and I get a bunch of ghouls back. So I'm ecstatic. And this zombie unit bust that doesn't move all game. Every time I cast Invocation, I'm getting like 12 more zombies back. That thing's like 30 long. I don't even bother putting the models because they don't move all game. So that's good. And you can see in the combat here, he issues a challenge. I accept with the champion. He does a lot of overkill again. But in this time, my lord goes to town and kills about 4 of his Chaos Warriors. So I still ended up, I think we broke even this combat. So nothing too exciting happens there. It's just another picture. You can see my Spirit Host in the top there. He's just trying to come back in and scare the hell out of the back of that Gorby's chariot. So, and then the Gorby's chariot slams in the side of my skeleton unit. And this is where you can see where this combat's starting to get borderline ridiculous. So, he issues a challenge. Last time I accepted with my skeleton champion. This time I accept with my Graveguard champion. He overkills him by 5, so he's getting +5 for his combat res. And you can see my Vampire Lord kills the back row. His chariot comes in, does 4 impact hits, and then the rest of this is just disgusting. Yep. This is what happens. This Gorby's chariot comes in and just, he hits with everything. 7 more skeletons just bite the dust. And then crumble. I think I crumbled 10 more skeletons, which crumbled my entire Graveguard with sword and board to nothing. I took a wound on my lord because of it, and my skeleton unit is just dust now. I got like 12 skeletons left. And there's the board all cleared away. You can just see the vicious aftermath of that Gorby's chariot. That combat res it added was brutal. Absolutely brutal. So, in my turn, I get Hellish Vigor off on my ghouls. I'm just trying to get whatever I can. The good part is I get my wound back on my Vampire Lord. And I can't get Invocation off, so I don't have a champion here. So, this is just brutal. And this is what you'll see. I accept a challenge with, I have to accept my challenge with my Vampire Lord with his Demon Prince, because if I don't, he's going to attack the unit, and he's going to Thunderstop the unit, and just the combat res alone will crumble me. So I accept with my Vampire Lord, and I do a wound to him, he does a wound to me. Mind you, he's just 100 times better than I am. I need 5s to hit him, and I need 4s to wound him. He needs 3s to hit me with a reroll, and then he needs 3s to wound me. So we do a wound to each other, and then he Thunderstomps me. He does 5 thunderstomps. He wounds me 4 times, and I get 4 ward saves. So I appropriately wiped the sweat from my brow at this point, and I charge my ghouls into the side here. You can see, and yeah, this is the end of the game here. I charge my ghouls into the side for the combat res, and his Gorby's chariot takes out 4 skeletons, and the challenge here, I do a wound to him, he does a wound to me. I deflect all of his thunderstomps. Um, yeah, so the way the combat worked is I lost because I charged my ghouls into the side. I couldn't touch a thing but the charge, the flank, and the rank are the 3 things I needed to stop me crumbling 100%. And so I just take 1 crumble on everything. If I didn't do that, uh, my Vampire Lord would be dead, and most likely everything would soon to follow. But thank the Lord that was the last turn of the game, and that's where it ended. The Vampire Counts ended up with 1,900 victory points, 1,985, and the Warriors of Chaos ended up with 1,073. And even though that was a major victory to the Vampire Counts, it sure didn't feel like it. It doesn't look like it, because if that Daemon Prince had one more turn, that Vampire Lord would definitely not be there. And that Gorby's Chariot would just, the combat res, my whole army would crumble right there. So I lucked out that that happened to be turn 6. What a phenomenal game. It came down to the very last rolls, and those are always the best games. So thank you very much. Bye.